Hello everybody, today is April 2nd, 2023, and this is my experiment investing $1 a day in 10 different cryptocurrencies and $1 a day in 55 different dividend stocks. Now I see this dotted white line, you can see it's been steadily going down. We can look at the 1 week period. We can actually see what it's actually going up for the 1 week period and then coming back down. We look at the 1 month period and we can see right here that it's been going down and then back up again. We looked at 3 month period, we can see right here January 6, 2023 is the first time investing in my life. February 20th, 2023 is when it really started dipping down. March 11th, 2023 is when Silicon Valley Bank was bailed out. And then Credit Suisse went under, and then they maybe decided to bail out, and then they got acquired. March 21st is when the Fed decided to raise interest rates by 0.25%, and then it's steadily been going up. If you enjoyed this content, please feel free to leave me a comment. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll be posting a minimum every Monday, every Friday, and sometimes throughout the week. Now, if we come over here and we look at Bitcoin, and we can see right here, Bitcoin has actually been going down for the time period, but it shot way, way up. We notice that people are putting their money in other places. They're taking money out of the bank because they're afraid of what's going on. They believe either the Fed's going to print more money or other such things. But the more interesting part right here is XLM is also pretty high up as well. Almost the same amount of returns based on my investments as Bitcoin. Very, very close, very, very similar for just putting $1 a day in each one of these different cryptocurrencies. Stocks as well are doing pretty interestingly. If I come over here and we look at today's return, we can see right here that almost all of them are getting in the green. And I believe the economy thinks that it's trying to do better based on what things are going. But that's not to say things will all of a sudden decide to switch and reverse. But you can see that they are doing pretty good. Now, a question got asked me in one of the actual comments on my videos is over here and how my dividend payments go out. So let me see if I can redefine it, re-explain it so that it has a much more better understanding. So currently my investments is I'm investing $1 a day in each of 55 different dividend stocks and $1 a day in each of 10 different cryptocurrencies. And in doing so, my goal was to be able to get paid a payment every single day. Now they only pay out Mondays through Fridays, which are trading days. But what I'm doing is I'm just taking each payment and counting it as a number one, and I'm trying to get paid even in account of for the month for Saturday and Sunday as well. So I'm trying to get enough dividend payments to get paid out that much. And then as I'm going, what I'm averaging right now, because I was trying to do my math and everything, is it's about 10 cents per day for each day of the month increase per month. So each month it goes up. So if I was getting like 19 cents per day, then I should be getting 29 cents per day for the next month, and then I should be getting 39 cents per day for the next month. On average is what I'm trying to reach and trying to reach my goal in for my dividend payments. And then eventually, if I get my dividend payments up high enough, it can start funding itself for buying each one of these to go through. Now, again, I have many layers of goals and many layers of plans for my investments, such as I still have more money that I want to put in when or if we reach the bottom for this year. I still am anticipating and maybe believing that there may be a huge crash. I still think the Fed has to raise interest rates higher, right? Inflation is still high. There's a possibility that more things could eventually happen this particular year, and in doing so I would like to dump more money in to get my investments higher for dividends starting at more at the bottom, so as a higher chance of increasing as time goes by. Now I really did my research on my dividend stock, so I'm not giving you a financial advice. I'm not telling you to copy anything that I'm doing here. This should be seen purely as entertainment only. And you're just seeing the results that I am doing here on how these investments are doing for my own personal outcome. How you may decide to invest, if this video inspires you in such a way, please do your own research. Please know that your results will not look the same as mine, as everybody's results are individual and different. It depends on when you get in, right? And depends on how long you've stayed in. For example, I bought in on January 6th, right? And because I bought in on January 6th, my investment profile is looking the way it is, and I'm paying $1 every single day. Where if you were to try to replicate or do the same thing, your results would be very different because you're starting at a totally different start point where it already is maybe either a little bit lower than when I bought in, or maybe you're higher than when I bought in. So the results are very different. So if you're ever thinking about doing something like this, please, please, please talk to a financial advisor. Make sure they're a licensed financial advisor. Make sure there's somebody you trust. And when I say trust, I mentioned in some of my other videos, find good friends. And if you don't know what a good friend is, please go ahead and watch some of my other videos. They really hit on some key stories from my life where there's a difference between a good friend and a difference between a bad friend. And if you want somebody to help you, you have to look for somebody that's really there for you and there to help you, not just there for a paycheck. And that's just my own 2 cents on that. You do how you want to do and how you're inspired, but in life, you have to find people that are willing to help you, willing to stand by you, and willing to give you good advice, that they're there for you to help you get along. Now, I'm just sharing my own personal experience on what this is going, how it's going. If this inspires you to start going, I'm happy for you. I'm excited for you at the same time. But make sure you get your own advice and do what's best for your own financial situation, as everybody is in a different situation. So another thing that I'd like to talk about here is setting goals. Now, the other day when I was talking to my spouse, talking to my family, they didn't a goal. Once you no longer have a goal, like if you don't have a goal for work or you don't have a goal for the next thing or the next project that you want to do, you lose focus, you lose interest, and you don't know where to go. And the thing about what I'm doing here is I created these YouTube channels and these videos to help keep me on track, to make sure that I'm doing what I expected and what my goal is to actually go forward. And then I'm setting goals for myself along the way where I want to hit certain points so that eventually it start either funding itself or I'm making enough money to not have to worry about it in that particular sense. Dividend stocks is not a get rich quick scheme. There has never been, never will be. I doubt it will ever be. It takes a long time. It takes a long investment. If you really look at it from the outside, it does take a lot amount of money to put in to get to it. Because if you really look at what I'm doing right here on my dividend stocks, they're really just, it's pennies. It started off as just pennies. And the emotional roller coaster that comes with this is huge, right? I had to reset my goals and set my goals again and be like, okay, is this really working? And then as dividend payments start to come in, I'm like, okay, yeah, it is working in that sense. But I still have to remember, I have to pay taxes on all this. Every single one of these. So the more money I get, the more taxes I will have to pay. The thing is, I'm looking at it for the long term, right? When I retire in my 60s or however, whenever I actually decide to retire, my dividend payments are going to still keep paying me at that time. It's a buy and hold strategy. So all this money that I had here, like say for example, I wanted to go on a trip or buy something nice or maybe buy a new computer or a nice car or whatever it is, this money I'm not planning to, nor will I ever touch it anymore. It's gone. It's in there. I put it in. Now I also like to relate my particular trading style to the arcade or the video games. You go to the arcade, right? You stick your money into the arcade. Once your money's in the arcade, it's gone. This money is not mine anymore. And if you apply the same concept as well to a bank, when you really think about it, with everything that's going on with banks crashing and everything else, when you stick your money into the bank, the fine print says the bank now owns this money and they're signing an obligation to give it back to you upon request. But it is now the bank's money and they can choose whatever they want to do with it. Now, I know maybe it sounds a little corrupt in that sense that you're giving your money away to another company, such as a bank, and they're deciding to do what they want with it, which is how a lot of these banks crashed in the first place, right? They took your money, and they have a goal to increase that money in the value in as they put it in. So they bought treasury bonds, or they bought mortgage-backed rates, so they bought all these different things where the Fed says, okay, we're going to stay at 0% interest rate for a long period of time, and they were all anticipating and gambling in that sense of if they're going to keep interest rates at a low rate, then these treasury bonds will be perfectly fine and they'll make me income on all the money that we've got from all these people. Well, the problem that's happening here is people taking their money out and they're putting it in other places, right? If you watch some of those financial or reading some of the books, some people say put it in gold. Gold's a nice, solid, money. It's real money, right? Gold's been around for centuries, decades. It's not going to disappear anytime soon. Gold is what you put in your phone. If you have a cell phone or you have computers, a lot of really key parts that work inside your phone is made out of gold because it conducts electricity a lot better, and it conducts data can go back and forth a lot better. So they use gold. Gold's not just for that. Gold's a heavy metal. Gold lasts for forever. If gold was dropped down in the sea in salt water, when they find the gold, it's still going to be gold. Just like silver. Silver has many more uses than people think. When you're looking at natural resources, you think of copper, platinum, diamonds. They all have their uses. People think of diamonds and you think, okay, wearing it as jewelry, but diamonds are used for drilling down in the dirt for oil because it's one of the hardest rocks and materials that you can use to help with digging. So they make diamond little dies that help drill down and actually dig. So when you really look at all these different natural resources, what is being used, think of a grander scope of how everything intertwines with each other and how we're all actually building together. Now, when I'll also talk about products, right? So you have these little parts that only Taiwan makes, and I'm gonna have to Google that in that sense and figure it out. But Taiwan makes these, maybe these semiconductors. I can't remember, these little tiny parts that go in the chips for our guided missiles and for very complex parts. Well, Taiwan's the only place that makes them, and because Taiwan's the only one that makes them, U.S. was trying to make a factory to here so we can build them, but the Taiwan was keeping the patents so that only they can make it. So why is that such an important thing? Well, if China, which we all know is trying to eventually take back Taiwan in some case, those key parts that are manufactured from Taiwan are now controlled by China. So there's just a lot of political and things that are going on in the world that you have to really think about. If the supply doesn't come in and get to the US, which a lot of our goods here in the United States come from China and from other places, we are more of like a debt country and we're getting our goods from all different places and around the world. If they decide to stop shipping to us, or relationships become bad or anything like that happens, we are affected in some way. And that's where the stock markets come into play. Each one of these is a company that deals with other companies either around the world or globally in some form or fashion. And unless you understand their future and where they're going, then you are particularly just putting your money in and gambling. You're not playing the game correctly. The game is you have to research and understand, how do these different companies affect the world? And I'm going to go ahead and I'll take Coca-Cola for example. Coca-Cola. How does Coca-Cola affect the world? Who in the world does not know about Coca-Cola? Maybe some third world country or some country that's never gotten it, but in some way they're still affected either by commercials, ads, seeing it in a newspaper, seeing it in a magazine, watching commercials on TV. Coca-Cola has affected near everybody. And I still do believe, since Coca-Cola is such a big, huge brand that have affected everybody in some way or some fashion, that they'll still probably be here in the next 10 years, right? And if you look at some of these other companies as well, each one has its own individual, what does it do, right? So for example, if we come over here and we look at Pfizer, how has Pfizer affected the world? What are they doing? If you've been living under a rock for these past several years and you don't know what Pfizer is or who Pfizer is, that they're a medical company that builds out, and here, Pfizer Incorporated is a research-based global biopharmaceutical company. It engages in the discovery, development, manufacturing, marketing, sales, and distributing of biopharmaceutical products worldwide. What was COVID? What is Pfizer? So, really, really think about it. And is Pfizer going to go away anytime soon? I believe they'll still be here for the next 10 years at least. So you really look at each one of these companies. What do they do? How do they affect? And where are they going? And that's how I picked my particular stocks and how I'm moving forward with them. And another point in one of my other videos as well is I put down, you have to treat each one of these stocks and or cryptocurrencies or whatever you decide you're investing in as friends and as good friends, right? As you're growing up, or maybe you're a parent, maybe you're a kid, you as a kid, you end up in school or whatever it is, you find good friends, you find bad friends, right? Or as a parent, you wouldn't send your kid off and play with one of your friend's neighbor that was really, really bad, doing bad things. Who knows what they're doing? But you really check their background. You really look at them and think about it. And if you don't, maybe you're one of those people that just don't care, you just make any kind of friends. Well, then you get hurt, right? How do you get hurt? Well, you lose all your money for the stocks market. Or if it's a friend or a bad friend, you get embarrassed, or something bad happens to you. Maybe you lose all your money because they let you borrow your money, or maybe they used you in some form or fashion. Maybe it's at work. Maybe it's a coworker, and the coworker burned you, threw you under the bus for a project. Same thing happens here. You have to pick good friends, and you have to, realize. And sometimes good friends can turn to bad friends, right? They drop you, they all of a sudden disappear, and you have to make decisions at the time. You can't just be like, oh, the world's over, and you just crawl up into a ball in a corner and do nothing. And there are people that do that, right? If you crawl up and you do it maybe for a day or a couple days or a week or a year, however long it takes you to recover. When you recover, do you get back on and go again and actually try to socialize, or you stay into your little bubble and don't do anything, right? Back to setting goals. You have to set goals for the future. You have to set goals for where you're going. Anything in life, as I've been getting older, like when I was younger, goals didn't matter to me, but I didn't realize what a goal actually was. So if you're younger and you're still trying to understand what is a goal is just setting something for you to move forward to the future. And the easiest way to simplify it for me is video games. When you're playing a video game, what is your first goal? I want to beat the game. Oh, no, wait, I want to get the best armor. Oh, no, wait, I want to get the best weapon or the best gun or whatever it is. I want to get the best of it, and I want to keep going. Oh, wait, there's another one that's even better than that. So you set another goal. Each goal motivates you to move forward to do the next thing. Now, for me, food also was a goal as well. I want to try the best food. I'm a big foodie. I love to go out. I love to eat. And I love to recommend food to other people as well. And so my goal is some people live to eat and some people eat to live. So you choose, which one are you? Well, I'm a person that lives to eat because I love food. I don't just eat to live. I'm not going to go there and eat a plain piece of bread just to eat a plain piece of bread. I do it sometimes, for my health, for my gut, because I'm getting older. My digestive system doesn't work so well. But each one to their own, right? And each one sets their own goal to where you want to be and what you want to do. Everybody's goal is different. You can have a goal to get the nicest clothes. You can have a goal to get the nicest car. But understand that some of your goals have consequences. Some of your goals where if you were to get that nice thing now, will you have a better future in the future? A lot of things for everybody in today's society, in today's world, everybody wants now. I want the new phone. I want the new car. I want that new bike. I want the new skateboard. I want the new video game. I want the new computer. And when I was younger, I used to buy it. I know, I get it. I really get it. I used to buy a brand new computer every single year before I got married. And not just a brand new computer. I had to have the brand new technology for whatever it was. So if they released a new Macintosh, I'd buy the brand new Mac. If they released a new PC part, Intel, I'd buy a new PC. So I learned how to do PC, how to do Macs, how to do Linux, how to do Amiga, Atari. I had the nicest of every single thing that came out, and I kind of just wasted my money in that sense. But think of it in another light, okay? I didn't just waste my money. I invested in myself. And because I invested in myself and learning the newest technologies, each one of those, so when virtual reality came out, I had to buy each one of the new virtual reality sets. Now, I've obviously scaled back way, way, way more since I got married. And my wife brought me in line. You're like, what are you doing? And I didn't just buy the newest technology. Anytime I bought the newest technology, I would resell off the old technology to other people, or I would advertise it and get rid of it. So I always was able to fund my ability to move forward. So even though I always had the newest technology, I was investing in myself for knowledge. And now I have a tech job, right? I work in the tech industry. I work in and being able to do and develop and being able to code because I understood and I set that baseline for myself. So if you have any kids that are really interested in something and have a passion, my parents never limited me from getting it. They merely taught me if I wanted to get a brand new computer, I had to work and get real money and earn it and buy it myself. They didn't buy it for me. I had to go out and buy it myself. Now, the only time that they would actually help me one time was like during Christmas, and that would be your entire Christmas present. It was they would, if I wanted a computer, my father would offer, and he would say, exactly how much? Okay, I am willing to pay half of that. You have to come up with the other half. Now, he only did that once, But that one time taught me I had to work the entire year, save up, and then eventually I got it. And then I got the computer, which was a used computer from one of his coworkers or one of his employees. And honestly, it was a piece of garbage. But I learned from it. I learned so much from it that it wasn't what I wanted. So I had to work and work to buy my next computer with no help. But I had learned from that mistake, and then I sold off that computer to somebody else, but with the full information that this computer was not what as anticipated. It wasn't a full gaming machine. It played games, but it wasn't up to par where what I wanted, because I already had a machine that was equal value. It wasn't better. It was just on the same level, and I wanted something better. So if you have that drive and I had that goal, I wanted something better. So how do I get it? Well, I work hard. I saved up money and I got the money for it, and then I got it. And then, and yes, it may have seemed like useless material at the time, or my parents may have seen it, maybe use. I don't know how my parents saw it, but to me, it was an investment in myself to gain knowledge. I learned how to install, how to tear it apart, how to fix it. It broke down so many times, had to fix it again. And remember how I talked about cars when they broke down? Well, I learned a lot about cars as well because I had bought so many lemons. Now when I buy cars, I know what I'm looking for. I know how to check all the different things. Check the engine, check the oil, check the tires, check the maintenance, check to see how well it's doing, how well it's running, check to see how it's starting, check all the fuses. You check everything and you learn from the experience, and you learn as you go. Well, the same thing applies to the stock market. As you go, you learn and you go. And I'm doing it slowly, $1 a day, and I'm learning every single day, and I'm watching as it goes down and up, and I'm learning to control my emotions. When it dips down, I'm not just sell, sell, sell. No, stick in it. Play the game. Keep going. You have a long-term goal. You have a long-term future. Eventually, you will make it if you stick with it and you keep trying. And the same thing applies to me when I started to learn how to code. I self-taught myself in 2020 to build my own MUD, which is a multi-user dungeon, code it from the ground up. And I spent months and months, hours and hours doing it, and eventually I got really, really good at it. So now that when somebody gives me code, or somebody is playing my MUD, asks me to fix a certain problem, I just go in there and instantly know where it is, fix it, done. What used to take me months to fix one thing, all of a sudden I could fix it in seconds. And then that same skills that I have now, I can apply it to real world and real life experiences and possibly get a better opportunity at a new job. So those are just the type of things that can happen in your life. If you enjoy this content, if you stayed here this long, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, how I can improve. If you feel like it, it helps me a lot. Subscribe to my channel. Come back once a week if you don't decide to subscribe. I'll be posting minimum every Monday, every Friday, maybe sometimes throughout the week. It looks like a lot of my audience is here on Sunday, so maybe I might change my schedule a little bit. Be posting every Sunday as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me. And you all have a wonderful rest of your day.